up, guys? It's your boy Josh Showtime along with my man Josh Valles, and this is Showtime's Fight Phone. We talk all things fight. Now, look, I don't know about you, but I'm excited this week. I'm excited. I'm nervous, very nervous, but excited still because this is a big fight week. If you love combat fights, it's a big week because you got UFC, John Jones. This might be the last time we ever see John Jones in a fight. And then you also have Mike Tyson. Hopefully, to God, this is the last time we ever see him in the ring. So, I mean, this is a very momentous week. But before, we have to do a quick recap over the previous week because we have had some very important people fighting. And it kind of went under the radar. The funny thing is, like, I don't know. I feel like promotion is just not the same anymore. Like, I didn't really hear much about Boots fighting or Keyshawn fighting. Like, I had to look through to find it, and it shouldn't be that way for these young up-and-coming fighters. And Boots really, he's young, but he ain't that young. We should be hearing about him fighting every single day.
Yeah, I think that to your point, yeah, we're in a great era this week with fights coming up. And as far as the Boots promotion goes, yeah, I think there could have been more promotion there, but I think also that's the small trouble that you run into when you're on DAZN, right? They're not signed with ESPN Top Rank. They're not a national, televised audience, right? So you have to, so to speak, be more than a casual to know that Boots is fighting and when he is, right? So I
Yeah.
think that's the only like small issue with being on DAZN sometimes. But with Keyshawn, I felt like he's still the number one contender, really, in all of the welterweight division. But I think with the Los Angeles Lakers playing on Friday, it's hard to compete with LeBron on a Friday night national television. But when Keyshawn gets into those world title fights, because this was a title eliminator, he'll definitely be on that main stage, which I think will bring in more promotion and more eyes glued to the main event, which he was on Friday and did a spectacular job at.
Yeah, and one thing I do love, I love that these fighters are selling out their home area. Like I love that. I love Boots, not Boots, but Terrence Crawford for going to Nebraska. Like who the hell will go? I don't even know if there ever been a pound for pound fighter going to Nebraska to show a fight. Norfolk. I mean, nobody goes to Norfolk to have a big fight. So it's really dope to see these guys going to their hometowns, home areas, and not just staying in Vegas and having a fight. Which obviously you'll make more money. That's the big fight, and also you can say that they weren't big enough to sell out at Vegas. That's another reason. But regardless, we know that they're talented. They still a big name. Going back home, showing out for the home crowd.
Yeah.
Shakur does it all the time too. Like I always applaud that. I mean, Tank does it. He went to Royal Farms when very well he could have went to Cat One, which is literally 35, 40 minutes away. So shout out to all those guys who do that. Keyshawn came in with a big fight, a guy who he was favored to beat and is on a 3-fight losing streak, but yet and still he did something that I've been wanting him to do, and I've been wanting all these young fighters to do, and that is seal the deal. I was tired of these up and coming American fighters that had no pull, like nothing to really make me want to talk about you. Like, brother, you can box your butt off, cool, congrats, but I want to see a little more, especially when you're fighting lower level talent. I already know you're not gonna be able to knock out when you're fighting the elite versus the elite. Like that takes a lot of skill and a lot of power that some guys aren't born with. But when you're fighting these little no names or the mid tiers, I need you to get them up out of there. And he did exactly that. So hats off. I didn't think Keyshawn could do it. I admit when I'm wrong, and I admit when I say things that I probably shouldn't have said. And I've been calling Keyshawn, Shakur, all these guys out by saying like these guys are great, but they're never going to be superstars because they don't have power. They don't make it entertaining. And when I say entertaining, yes, we love the skill, but we want to see people hurt. Like if you're not hurting people, then you're not going to entertain people. I'm sorry. That's just the way it goes. When Floyd was first fighting, he was hurting people. So I don't want to hear this, well, Floyd didn't. No, Floyd was hurting people. So I want to see you hurt people too. And Keyshawn did exactly that. Got him out the way in 2 rounds. Showed off for the crowd. So shout outs to that man. And I was so impressed. And he, I don't, it's not like I'm saying he's a pound for pound fighter right now. but he proved me wrong and showed that there's more to his game than I expected.
Yeah, and he is the businessman. So to your point, and bringing up boots and selling out arenas and so forth in their hometown. Shout out to Keyshawn Davis for not only being the main event in his hometown, but also having his two other brothers, Calvin and Keon, on the card, and
Good point.
his three sisters singing the national anthem. I mean, this was Keyshawn's day. This was the DB3 day. He had Troy Isley as the co-main event as well. But a spectacular job by Troy. So really, that card was amazing from top to bottom. And kudos to Key for getting all that done from an entertainment standpoint. Then coupled with the fact that you just said it, he closed the show. He saw his man hurt and got him out of there, gave the fans something to get out of their seats about, and something that you just said it best, something we can talk about moving forward outside of it was a great performance. He out chess matched him and so forth. Keyshawn shows you that he's a fighter. He'll get in there and get his opponents out of there if he sees them hurt. He called out some big names afterwards. And I think when you're ranked number 3 in the WBC, WBO, WBA, IBF, all these rankings like Keyshawn Davis is, I think he's made himself a big player for these big fights right now. And I think even though this was a title eliminator already, we knew that. I think that one of those titles should be up for grabs for a Tank, right? I think that with his silver medal, international success, with his immediate success here in the United States, main event already, 12 fights in, I say let's go for it. If this was Lomachenko, I mean, he would have already fought for a world title. So let's give the fans what they want to see, what Keyshawn himself is asking for, which is big fights with big names. And I'm glad that he has this fight right here that shoots him up into that conversation with other fighters, because this was a spectacular performance that we could talk about for months.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I will say is that I love the call out. At the end, you got to have faith in yourself and believe in what you believe in. But at the same time, I need to see a little more against better competition. I mean, fight a top 10 lightweight, and then maybe we could start having these conversations. Get one of these guys out the way that's top 10, top 5, or something like that. Then I want to hear about Tank. I mean, I also am interested in still Andy Cruz. To get some get back. I think he's lost multiple times to him in the amateurs. And some people say, oh, amateurs don't matter. Amateurs don't necessarily matter, but there is a rivalry between them. Rivalries do matter. Same reason why Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia mattered. It was a rivalry. They were 3-3 in the amateurs. We finally got to see them fight, and it delivered.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for the whole PEDs and debacle, that would have been maybe the second biggest upset to Fury and Usyk. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's still the biggest upset of the year. Who knows? But it's very close. It's up there. So I mean, that stuff does matter, and to the fighters, it matters. That's the biggest thing. You think it doesn't matter to Keyshawn that he lost and he's not a gold medalist? Why is he not a gold medalist? Why is he not an Olympic gold medalist? Boxers care about being a gold medalist. That made Floyd cry. That made Floyd. You think Floyd don't think about it? Roy Jones. You think Roy Jones don't think about his silver medal? Like, all these guys care about that kind of stuff, and to get it taken from you, and he got it taken from him because he actually lost. It's not like he got robbed. He lost to this dude. That's some get back that I would love to see. So Andy Cruz versus Keyshawn, I want to see it. I want to see it like now. Like now. To me, that needs to be the next fight. But for Tank, I think he would just devour him. I still don't see the threat that he would have towards Tank for real. And I think Tank would just literally knock him out. Look just a little bit. I ain't gonna say it's gonna look exactly like the Frank Martin fight, but it's gonna look like that in a way.
I don't think so at all. I think Keyshawn's just international skill set that he had getting to the silver medal, the gold medal round in the Olympics really takes him a step further in his, development against a Tank. I think all of Tank's opponents don't have the background that a Keyshawn Davis has. And
Fair.
for me, I feel like with regards to Andy Cruz, I would love to see that fight too between Keyshawn and Andy Cruz. I just would like to see it with something on the line, because every fight that they had in the amateurs, which I believe was 4, there was something on the line. Of course, they fought at the pinnacle with the gold medal at the Olympics, but I would like to see Andy Cruz, who is behind on his trajectory professional wise in regards to Keyshawn. He's a few fights behind him. I'd like to see him build up his resume a little bit more. That way he can, make it a mega fight between Keyshawn
So the only
and
reason
Keyshawn.
why the only reason why I don't care about that is because one, he's older. I believe Andy Cruz is like 30, 29, maybe 30. And also his amateur background is way more extensive than Keyshawn is because Cuba is very weird about them going professional. So he's been amateur for so long. It's kind of like the Lomachenko and Better BF thing where they have a bunch of amateur. Their amateur background is so extensive that they can go right into pros and fight better fighters because they're very seasoned. They've been in the ring for so many times, for so many years and decades or whatever, that it's like, I'm ready to fight the big dogs. Whereas in people like Keyshawn, it's like, yeah, I have an amateur extensive background, but a lot of it is more so like under 20. Like I'm fighting
Right.
17-year-olds, 16-year-olds. Whereas in Andy Cruz and Lomachenko, they're fighting 30-year-old men, 25-year-old men, grown men. So I mean, it's a little different. But so that's why I don't care about that. But like you said, Andy Cruz still has to get adjusted to the pros because he's been pro for I think 2 years now.
Yeah, just about. So, I mean, to your point, yeah, I mean, all of this makes sense, right? I mean, we can say this, that, or the third. I just feel like when you look at Keyshawn Davis, in the he's more of a household name now than Andy Cruz is. But
Absolutely.
if you see if you're not a casual, then you want to see this fight right now for sure. If you are, then you'll probably be a bit confused why this fight is happening and not a fight against Tank, right? Because we just saw Keyshawn on a main event. Now, we'll have to learn a new story about Andy Cruz with Tank and Keyshawn, or really any of the champions. I mean, this gives, you know, something on the line. I feel like we're at a point right now where Keyshawn is a money fighter now, as in like there has to be something on the line moving forward. He's at that pinnacle in his career. His next fight will be for a world title. What happens after that? Maybe a unification bout. I mean, the list goes on, but I think this performance has catapulted him into a different place than where Andy Cruz is. But
I
in
agree.
regards to him and Tank, I don't know. I believe that Keyshawn's going to walk away. I think he has more skill, and you know, Gervonta's good power, good speed. We know all of that, but again, I just think that Keyshawn's at a different level.
I feel you. All right, look, that's fine. That's fair. I respect it. So now we are going to go in to the your Geronis Boots fight, Geron Ennis fight. Now this is a rematch. It's fights that people necessarily wasn't clamoring for, but at the same time, it was kind of one of those situations where who really wanted to fight Boots that we care about. Like, and realistically, the fights that we want to see him in, those guys aren't interested in fighting him. So I mean, he kind of was stuck. So he ended up taking a rematch, and I mean, the thing is, Boots looked like Boots. He looked good. However, he did get hit more than people have seen him get hit, and he got rocked a couple times, and we weren't used to seeing that. So per usual, we get people overreacting, saying he ain't ready for Terrence Crawford. He's not ready. He wouldn't even beat Errol Spence. This, that, third. I want to know: is it an overreaction, or is it an underreaction on his performance that he is not ready for the elite competition?
It's a complete overreaction. Boots is one of the best boxers in all of boxing. That's the reason why he has this fight that he just had, was because no one else wants to fight him. So he had to fight his mandatory or give up his belt. So I feel like for me personally, Boots is, well, like this is just what happens when two people fight, right? And they fight each other, twice. They know each other from the first fight. Pakistan came, more aggressive this fight. The last fight that was, I believe, on the Tank undercard was, he was running around most of the fight. This fight, he came forward, really gave Boots some opportunity to exchange back and forth. But Boots still did what? Win unanimously. UD. So at the end of the day, I don't think this is a. I think it's an overreaction if you think less of Boots after this performance. There, we all have. I wouldn't even call it an off night. How is a UD an off night? So
I
for
mean, I
me,
agree.
yeah. So for me, I think he's ready for all of them. I don't think they're ready for him, and they're using this as a reason to not fight him.
I agree. And here's the thing, man. At the end of the day, we got to understand this is boxing. He's fighting good fighters. You are going to one have an off night. That's just gonna happen. Like it does. Every single boxer in human history that is an all-time great list has had an off night. And also, you're going to get hit. You're gonna get touched up. You're not gonna end. You're not gonna live. I mean, or get off every single fight flawlessly. That's just impossible. It's unrealistic. And you guys got to get off that high horse. Like you guys love Floyd Mayweather, but you can look at multiple fights where he got touched up very good. He lost the tooth fighting Marcus Madonna. You see his tooth flying in the dago. And Marcus Madonna is not a great fighter. He's tough, but he's not an elite fighter. And that guy touched up Floyd several times. Both times they fought. So I mean, I don't. And then you can honestly go to multiple fights. Cotto touched up Floyd. Like you get hit clean, you get rocked. It happens. So I mean, like you said, it doesn't mean anything. He could have very well, one, he could have overlooked them, which is very possible. Two, it's hard fighting guys in rematch. That's why I got so much respect for Floyd because he's one of the few fighters who gets better in a rematch. Like I beat you, if I barely beat you the first time, that was your chance. Because it's going to be worse the second time. It's not the same for a lot of people. Maybe Muhammad Ali's like that too, where it's like if you got a rematch with him, you pretty much SOL. He's gonna he figured you out. He's gonna beat you the second time, and if it's a third time, good luck. Like that's rare. Normal fighters in a rematch, bro, it's tough. That guy, especially when you're the winner, because you're gonna assume, okay, I can get better, but what I did worked. Whereas in a person that lost is sitting there thinking, what can I do to counter everything he just did? And normally in the first fight, you did everything that you're good at. So be prepared that this guy's gonna be able to counter that with a good team. So it's not easy. It's very tough. And for him to do that and still, like you said, win unanimously, still hurt him, still rocked him, dropped him. Like, brother, the guy's legit. Like, we got to move. And if this is his last fight at 147 or if he moves up to 154, if you are fighting him, you better not sleep on him or think he's all talk because you will get beat on.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And yeah, I think this is just the classic of looking for a way out, I guess you can say. But in this case, it's looking for a way to criticize or separate Boots from Bud. And I just think that that's all smoke and mirrors to me. I know Bud came out with the tweet saying that pretty much little broed him, just saying, hey, go back
Yeah.
to the drawing board and just,
You said pretty
thanks.
much. He
Yeah,
did, son him.
he did. Yeah. Thanks for trying, see you later. But I even with Bud saying that, and kudos to Bud for saying that was a great chess move. I mean, realistically, Boots is still there, and I think with one or two really good performances, the talk, especially if he goes to 154, the talk of him fighting Crawford or Spence will intensify once again, just like it does all the time with boxing. You have one fighter who doesn't do too well with one fight, and then everybody says this, and then he has two outstanding performances, and we forgot about the one fight we all hate. So
Boxing.
it's how it goes.
One thing boxing fans have, and this is just the biggest fact, which is why I say people need to stop caring about the O, is boxing fans got short-term memory. We don't give a damn what happened 4 fights ago. If you was born 4 fights ago, you just had 3 really exciting fights, they're going to forget that one. They're going to forget your reputation beforehand. Everybody was talking about how much of a bum Anthony Joshua was until he knocked out Francis. Then it's like, oh, he back. Oh, it's different. Something's different. Then he loses again. Then now he sucks. Like boxing fans have short term memory, so it really does not matter. But I'm gonna tell you what do matter. All right, and that is the fight that everybody here is gonna be here to watch. I'm sorry for the people who didn't really care about boxing that just wanted to hear us talk about Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, but we are here. All right, this is what we're here to talk about: Mike freaking Tyson and Jake Paul. Okay, this is the fight that no one asked for. This is the fight that I'm pretty sure most people would have never cared to see. But we're here. We're going to watch it. The first boxing match ever on Netflix, live, which is going to do mega numbers. This is going to do millions. Millions. All right, it's gonna be huge. I mean, you can't understate this. And now, first, before we even break into the fight, you have to pay respects to Jake Paul for being a straight innovator. Like, you can hate this man for all he do in his shtick. It is what it is. But what he does as far as thinking outside the box and delivering, I mean, I would have never expected it from a guy like him. He got really either smart people around him or he's smarter than he looks. Because this is amazing. Having a fight on Netflix, brother, do you know how much money that is?
Yeah, I was just about to say, or as you were talking, I was just agreeing with you. Like, say whatever you want about him, and rightfully so. Some of the stuff that he has done in the past or present may or may not agree with, including this fight.
Yes.
You want to be a real boxer. You want to show us this. You're fighting Mike Tyson. You're fighting MMA fighters. Regardless of whatever you think, what we know is that there's never been a boxing event on Netflix before. And what we know is that the people that will be on the main event is Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. And what we know is that the fighters underneath the main event are all under Jake Paul. And one of those fights is one of the biggest fights in all of boxing right now. And that's Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, the rematch. So, to your point, yeah, I mean, overall, the spectacle, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, we got Jake Paul, who's 27, 28, fighting, Mike Tyson, who's in his 50s. How is Mike Tyson
58.
58? How is even Mike Tyson? How did we even get this approved, from a medical standpoint? I mean, boxing's a very dangerous sport, and you know that Jake Paul is not going in there to really take it too easy on Mike Tyson. Or is he? I don't know, remains to be seen, but just that storyline alone is just like crazy. It's almost like circus. But regardless,
Almost.
yeah, what it is. Regardless, to your point, we're all tuned in, and it's gonna make a lot of money. Netflix, everybody got Netflix, or you're sharing it, and it is
You
what it
can't even share it
is.
no more.
Yeah, yeah, and here we are. Here we are.
Like,
So
realistically, this fight is disgusting. I've already said this. I hate it. I'm telling you right now, I hate this fight. I genuinely do. There's nothing about this fight that I really like. I don't care. Like, if this was a TV simulation, I'd be cool with it because it's funny. But in a real life circumstance, there's no way I would ever support a 27-year-old fighting a 58-year-old. Like,
yeah,
especially a legend that is Mike Tyson. I just can't necessarily like it. But unfortunately, I can't say I won't support it because I'm gonna watch it. I have to. Like, it's unfortunate to say this. Like, it's like
it's
one of
right
those joints you
there.
want to cover your eyes and be like,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know.
definitely gonna be sitting here like this the whole time. Like from round one onward, I'm just gonna be like, what am I about to watch, and
Am I
what is
gonna see a
going to
man
happen?
die?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, hopefully not, but I'm just saying in general, like, yeah, I mean, this could be a fight where Mike Tyson or Jake Paul, because we can say whatever we want right now about Mike Tyson pushing 60, but been watching him on the pads, and I just feel like even at 60 or pushing 60, you get hit with one of those, you're gonna be hurt.
I mean, one thing I will say, man, power carries, man. You can be old and still have power. Like, as long as you still got that, so as long as you still got them hips, like, as long as you ain't got Shannon Sharp hips, you good. Like, he should be able to still like pack a punch, which I'm sure. But my thing is, how long is that lasting? I mean, realistically, we have to put in parameters of how this fight gonna go. It's gonna go what one or two ways, oh, three ways. One, Mike Tyson has at least 30 seconds of a good go, and he catches Jake Paul because Jake Paul is still not a good boxer, which is possible. Or Mike Tyson is going to look old, and he's going to look like Evander Holyfield when he fought a couple years ago, and he's going to be punch drunk, and he's going to get clipped with every shot, and he's going to get hurt, and then everybody's going to feel disgusting afterwards. And they're gonna be like, damn, I really just watched the old man get slaughtered by like you got to think like I hold Mike Tyson in high regards, but I don't hold Mike Tyson in high regards like 99% of human beings do. Like when it comes to boxing, Mike Tyson is probably the number one or number two guy that you is either Ali or Mike Tyson. Those are the two names you always come up with when you think about. Oh yeah, and Floyd. Those three names. So like people legit are obsessed with this guy. You say one bad thing about Mike Tyson, everybody's in your ass like automatically. So just to think that their idol can possibly get knocked out by Jake Paul a Disney star, a YouTuber, bro, no joke. Like people might actually try to like literally jump and beat the brakes off of Jake Paul for this because this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt people's feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I hopefully not, but at the end of the day, this is what Mike Tyson signed up for, right? So it's not like he was forced in the ring. What I will say is, I just, it's still a spectacle at the end of the day. This is going to be crazy to watch overall, but I mean, I humbly will say, this will help Jake Paul's street cred just a bit, but it's still going to have me say, okay, let's see you do that against Boots.
Nah, let's see you good. Let's see you beat Fury. Let's try
Yeah, let's
that.
see you beat Fury. Yeah, I went down like 40 pounds to Boots and them, but even Fury, like, let's see you do that against Fury. So I'm excited to watch it. It's coming up obviously this weekend, but we'll see. I'm gonna just stay
Let
calm and let the bell ring.
So let's do our keys to victory, my brother.
Oh
So
jeez.
if you are Mike Tyson, how do you win this fight? How can he win this fight?
You win this fight by not not gassing out. If you're Mike Tyson, what you should focus on is making sure that you fight in spurts to the point where you don't gas out. Because Jake Paul, we can say whatever we want, and we can say whatever we want also about Mike Tyson and their endurance and his endurance as a boxer. But this is 60-year-old Mike Tyson, all right? So his endurance is going to be a little different. My focus would be the Mike Tyson we know. Bob and weave, throw your hooks, do whatever you gotta do whatever you know. My thing would be to don't step on the gas pedal so early in the fight and for a long period of time. For Jake Paul, jab, stab, and move. Do not get hit by one punch by Mike Tyson because his punches, like I said, even on the mitts, are looking crazy. So if you get hit with one of those shots on 8-ounce gloves or 10-ounce gloves, might be an early night for the kid.
You know it's hilarious. I actually disagree with you completely about the Mike Tyson logic. I think Mike Tyson
That's fair.
should
It's a
go.
debate show. Let's do it.
Yeah, I
What's
know.
up?
I think Mike Tyson needs to come out fast,
Okay.
aggressive. I think he needs to be a minute and a half of what he was 15 years ago, 20 years ago. If he starts
Okay.
off fast and he starts off crazy and he does the peekaboo and he's just literally just bombing hooks and just being who he is, good head movement, I think he will knock Jake out in the first round because that is his keys. Like you said, he's 58 years old. These are 2-minute rounds. He's wearing 14-ounce gloves, so these are big gloves. I don't see Mike Tyson lasting 8 rounds. I don't. I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't see it. He's gonna gas out. You're too old, man. Like you mean you brother, you just had to pull out because you had ulcers. Like this, it's hard for me to personally think that you can gear up for what is it, 16 minutes, for a 16-minute fight, and then you're having to go against this younger guy who also has cardio issues. Let's remember Jake don't have great cardio. He gasses out too. And once he gasses out, he relies on one punch. He just throws the over the looping overhand hook, and it's ugly. It lands on bad fighters, and he ducks into a lot of punches. But here's the thing. Here's my thing. The same flaws that Jake had when we first saw him fight in the limelight, he still has. He hasn't cleaned up his game as much as people like to say. He's gotten better for sure, but his weaknesses are still his weaknesses. One weakness: he does terrible versus people who pressure him. If you pressure him, put him on his back foot, he doesn't know what to do. He gets stuck, and what he does is he relies on his power punch. That's all he does. Now, fighting an experienced boxer like Mike Tyson, who has literally lived his whole life in boxing, I will hope that he can see these coming, but he's slow now. He's not fast Mike no more. So we'll see if his reaction times are still good because you can see it. You can know he's going to do it, but Jake is still faster. Like,
Yeah.
just a fact. He's the faster guy. Mike Tyson is 58 years old. You have to keep putting that into your brain to remind y'all, don't have high expectations because it is still a 58-year-old man. He's not Jesus. Okay? So, yet and still, though, you have to think that, once again, Jake does bad against people who pressure. Mike Tyson is very good at pressuring. And also, this is going to be by far the hardest puncher he's ever fought. Yes, he's 58 years old, but he can still crack. I have no doubt that he can possibly knock him out. Now
Yeah.
we just have to see if he can do it for a minute and a half straight. If he can't, the fight he's gonna lose. Jake Paul, what I would recommend for Jake Paul to win is hug fest, hug fest, hug fest. All right, jab hug. Just do what you can. Mike Tyson is probably stronger. He got old man strength. I don't care. Let him use it. Let him muscle you around, but turn it into a wrestling match for the first 2 to 3 rounds. After that, go to work. Go to work. Jab. Get him confused. Get him to the body a little bit, and then once he starts doing the crazy peekaboos, hug him again. Try to just weigh on him. Get them arms tired, and then just once again go to work. He's older. He's going to break down eventually. He's not going to be solid. If he's solid for 16 minutes, I'll eat crow. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair assumption. Try to get him out of there, and if he gets into the deep rounds, he may gas out then. That's a fair assumption. I think everything you said is pretty valid. For your keys to Jake's victory, I would do the same. Just jab, hold, move out the way. Don't try to get hit by Mike Tyson because
don't go into a war.
Do not go into war.
Because the one thing that Jake is gonna if you go into war with Mike is Mike, and we've said this before. Mike has been boxing his entire life. Mike, for a lot of people who don't, Mike is actually pretty technical on his throw and his punches. All right, so his punches are cleaner. His punches will be cleaner. So if you try to go into a war, the cleaner punches are always gonna win. Okay, so it's just better for you to just not risk it. Hug time, punch, hug. That's what we need. That's what you got to do if you want to win this fight.
Yeah, I totally agree. But overall, I'm excited for it. It's gonna be a great night of boxing overall, and seeing boxing on Netflix. Excited to see the commentary, the presentation. We're digital media students. That's how we met, and that'll be cool to see. And I don't know. New stuff.
I hope y'all don't hear my baby crying. She sounds like she's getting drop kicked. But we don't hear it. Cool. So side note, that's cool. So quick thing, let's quickly talk about, because we were definitely running over. Let's quickly talk about Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. I'll paint the scene. It's a rematch. A fight that's super controversial. Some people think Amanda Serrano won. I had it as a draw. Some people had Katie Taylor winning. However, what we do know is that was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, boxing match in women's history. That was by far one of the most influential fights I think that could have ever happened in women's boxing. Sold out Madison Square Garden, and they put on a absolute phenomenon of a show. So I mean, it's gonna be a repeat. You can only hope and pray that this fight's gonna live up to the hype times 10. It might not, but it's going to be fireworks no matter what, because Amanda Serrano is aggressive. She likes to throw, and she don't know what boring is, but she also gets hit a lot. So, and Katie Taylor's also older. So my thing is, how do you see this fight going? Who are you picking for this rematch?
Yeah, well, first I was talking to my dad and my family here, so I was like,
Were you in Virginia?
Yeah, I'm in Virginia. Yeah, so I feel like, Mom, where's the meatloaf? That's basically what just happened. However, to answer your question, because I was also locked in, yeah, I think that this fight is gonna go Amanda Serrano's way. I'm rocking with my Puerto Rican girl, or my Puerto Rican lady boxer. So I think that it's gonna be a slugfest from start to finish. I think Katie wants to prove that the first fight was definitely hers to win, and Serrano wants to prove her the opposite, right? That was my fight. I should have won the first one. Coming back, I believe that this fight will lead to a trilogy because I have Serrano winning, and I don't think it's going to be a fight where Serrano's going to pull it out. I think it is going to be a slugfest, an all-action fight, just like the first one was. Both fighters are going to make the most money that they've made in their life, so a lot is on the line. I think they both want to put on a great performance just from that alone, so that there could be a third fight. Because even if Serrano for some reason loses, if it's a really competitive, exciting second fight, we could even see a third one, no matter what the outcome. But overall, kudos to both ladies putting on for boxing, not only for the previous fight, but this one here, and again, on Netflix, first women's fight.
And shout out to Jake Paul once again for his promotions. For one, getting Amanda Serrano page. He always brings up how he pretty much changed her life and made her a millionaire. And I mean, no matter of how disgusting and like I said, trash this fight could possibly be between him and Mike Tyson, I gotta pay respects for him lifting up other boxers who weren't getting paid their dues, especially ladies, who we already know the long history of women's boxing and how they don't really get the limelight, they don't get the money or the recognition. Recognition. This is gonna be one where millions of people are gonna watch her, her and Katie Taylor, and put women's boxing on the match. For a guy who has a daughter who want my daughter to thrive in whatever sport she chooses, it's amazing to see like some of these sports that are known as masculine get lifted up by women as well to say that you can be a woman and do these masculine sports and still be feminine. You can still be a girl. Like you ain't got to be oh my that's a dude. Like Amanda Serrano does not look like a dude. Amanda Serrano looks like a girl. Like Katie Taylor looks like a girl. Like, these are women. So I mean, I love seeing it. So I'm happy. I'm always here to uplift any women's sport, especially the physical ones. How I see this fight going, I'm with you. I got Amanda Serrano. I think she's gonna win by TKO. Actually, I think she's gonna get the finish. I think that Katie Taylor is getting older. I do think she is plateaued. Actually, I think she's getting worse per fight. And it has been had, and she really didn't like for Katie Taylor being a bigger girl. She did not like Amanda Serrano's power in that first fight, and I think Amanda known that, and she punched herself out and got tired, and that's why she was able to mount a comeback. I think this fight she's going to be able to be patient, and if the kill shot's there, she takes it and gets her out of there. So I'm going to Amanda Serrano TKO 6th round, and we're gonna have and new. And if we get a trilogy, cool. But I really want to see Amanda Serrano fight Alicia Baumgartner. That's kind of been the fight that I've been really looking forward to.
Heck of a fight. Yeah, that would be a crazy fight to see. Would love to see that as well for sure.
Absolutely. But that is all we have for this episode, man. Thank you guys for tuning in per usual. Make sure you follow us on social media. You can follow us at Josh Fight Forum on Twitter. Make sure you also like, subscribe, and comment. We want to know what you guys think about Boots. We want to know what you guys think about the Mike Tyson fight. Are we happy about this? Are we excited? By the way, my hand is swollen. Like I can't even. I don't know if you can tell, but like
Yeah,
my hand is
you
swollen.
look like the Nutty Professor.
Well, I can't even close my fist. But yeah, like regardless, yeah. So let us know what you guys think. Are you excited for this fight? Are you not excited? And yeah, we'll talk about we're gonna do a recap next week for sure. And we're gonna be either happy or I'm gonna be.
We'll have a lot to talk about. I feel like this is going to be something we'll have a lot of storylines to walk away from.
Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure. But Josh, anything you want to say before we go head out?
No, I think you said it best. Follow us on our social media platform, and we look forward to interacting with you soon.
All right, guys. Thank you guys, and as always, stay blessed.